Hi, my name's Nicola and I'm the person behind Sedgwick Meads. This is something I've been trying to set up for a few years. I've been making mead for over 10 years now, and the most common question I get when people try it is, where can I buy it? How can I buy it? Can you make some for me? For the last few years I've been looking into how to make this meadery a professional operation, and I'm starting it now. I've got a premises I'm starting to set up, and the aim is that in a year's time I'll be selling my mead. I need a little bit of help, and it would be great if some of you could think about funding me and have a look through the rewards that I've set up on the Kickstarter campaign. Hopefully you'll see something there that you like. There are plenty of fun things like having a sticker with your name on a bottle, a bit like adopting an animal at a zoo but with alcohol that someone else is going to buy. So take a look through this. I hope you enjoy it, I hope you find something you like, and it would be absolutely wonderful if you'd think about backing my Kickstarter campaign.
Environmental health frowns somewhat on a cat being present in the household because you can't keep them away from the kitchen, you can't keep them away from the sides, and my produce wouldn't be sellable at the end of the day, so I have to set up professionally. So this is the kitchen area at the moment. We've gotten rid of a lot of the cupboards to open up the space. We're working on cleaning it down, getting it painted, ready for being a food production environment, and just got to get a couple of catering sinks to go in here now. Outside of the kitchen is this huge warehouse area. Now this used to be a wood workshop. They used to do bespoke joinery here, but for our purposes it's ideal for a meadery. So the big dream is that there will be huge fermenters in the middle of this giant space, and we'll do some of the test batches in the kitchen, and the main huge fermenting will take place out here. But initially these cupboards are going to be used, and on top of these we'll have 100-litre fermenters doing smaller craft batches, and maybe even people want their own bespoke batches, 100 litres for a wedding, maybe special birthday, special anniversary. So we're going to start out with fermentation going on the sides, and then gradually work our way into the middle of the room and fill this place with mead. Fill it, well, almost up to the rafters. Not quite. We need to get the equipment here, we need to get the fermenters, and we need to get environmental health in to get us all approved. And then we can get our mead onto the market, and hopefully there's many fans of mead out there. There's not enough mead on the market, there's not enough choice. And we hear that from people time and again, that if we produce mead, they'd love to buy it, they'd love to taste it. We need to make that a reality.
This is what a pineapple mead looks like when it's finished, when it's fully fermented, cleared out, and a beautiful yellow colour. To drink it, it tastes a little bit like summer. And this is what I'm going to show you how to make, so that if you want to, you can make this at home and enjoy it. If you don't want to, then when the meadery is set up, hopefully with some Kickstarter funding, then you'll just have to come and buy it from me at some point.
Now I should apologise that during some of this video there have been little burbles in the background, but this is the meadery baby, this is Rosa. This is the other reason that the meadery can't start off from home. It has to be a professional outfit where I go out to work to produce mead to sell to other people, because at home this little girl gets priority. I'm going to show you an example of one of the meads that I make, and this one involves not only honey but pineapple, and I think it's a really nice light summery type of mead once it's made, so making it now, it'll be ready in a year's time for summer 2015, and it'll be a beautiful drink to have on a sunny day. To get started at home, you basically need a demijohn, which is a 4.5 litre or 1 gallon container, normally made of glass, but you can get cheaper ones made of plastic, and that's what your mead is going to ferment in. You need a big pineapple, so a nice big sizable pineapple that you're going to get at least a pound of fruit out of, and you need 3 or 4 regular jars of honey, so 450-ish grams of jars of honey, and it depends how sweet you want it. If you like your drinks very sweet, then go for 4 of them. Not so sweet, go for 3. So this is my general setup, and of course in order to make this you need a giant saucepan. Cue one giant saucepan, and this is a big stew pot that I use at home. Can take 5 litres of stew or soup, or in this case proto mead. Now you should at this point be seeing the reason that I'm setting up a commercial meadery. This is what I can produce at home, 1 5-litre pot at a time. That's maybe 10 bottles of mead. I'm after fermenters that can hold 100 litres, so that's a lot bigger than this. I can't do that from a domestic kitchen, I can't do that from home. That's why I'm setting up in a proper site with a proper catering style kitchen. This is what the hot water and honey mix is starting to look like. So you're starting to get a foam that forms on top. And I give it a stir every so often. And what you want to do is collect that foam and just remove it. That's the proteins and the slight impurities in the honey, which are fine, they're not dangerous to you whatsoever, they just stop you getting that perfect look to the mead. It's good to keep a little jar or jug or bowl of water to one side so that you can tip away that foam that you scoop off. But equally, as well as tipping away the foam, you can make sure that you're cleaning off the spoon and you're not going to be putting any of that foam back in. So this is what you don't want to do. You don't want to have a rolling boil on your mead, so I'm going to have to turn that down a little bit just to get that under control. And so we've got that on a much better heat now, and we've gotten off most of the foam, and there won't be much more now. You can see how much foam that we've had come off. What we want to do is just leave this honey in the hot water for around 20 minutes before taking it off the heat. And in the meantime, I've got another little pot here. It's just got about a tablespoon of hot water in it, boiling water. And to that you want to add 1 black tea bag. And this will steep, and just leave it steeping whilst the honey mixture is cooking. And then when the honey mixture is done, remove the tea bag and put the water in, and that's what provides you with the tannin, which takes some of the edge off the sweetness of the mead and also kind of helps all the fermentation. The more tannin, the drier a wine. Now, while everything else is going on, you need to make sure that the container you're going to use to ferment your mead is completely sanitised. And in the past I've done that using Milton on the basis that if it makes things safe for vulnerable little babies, then it's good for brewing. Or you can get a specialist cleaner and basically just make up according to the instructions. Once you've had your 20 minutes of heating time and scooped off all your foam, you should have a liquid that looks beautifully clear and honey coloured, lovely and reflective. And just turn the heat off and let it come down to a cool. And at this point you can add in the water that you steeped the tea bag in. And you also want to add about a tablespoon of cider vinegar, and that just gives a little bit of acid for the yeast to work on when you put that in. So the mead's now cooled down to room temperature. the honey mixture, which is what we need it to be at. And all our pineapple is chopped up and it's in the bottom of our demijohn. Now, as you can see, the neck on these homebrew demijohns is quite small, so it's had to be chopped up quite fine. You can do that yourself at home, or you can have the mead for the first few weeks in like a beer fermenter. So you pour your honey and water mix along with your tea mix and your vinegar into the demijohn over the pineapples, and everything looks swimming. It's all floating nice and happy, and it's now ready to go. So what I do is I now leave this until tomorrow, at which point I add the yeast. And you can just use a sachet of bread yeast if you can't get anything more specialised, or if you can get to a local homebrew shop, then you can get a sachet of wine yeast. What you want to do is get a wine yeast designed for sweet or dessert wines, because there's a lot of honey, there's a lot of sweetness in this mead. So you fit your airlock to your mead, and you need it to have a decent level of water, so it's high on one side and right low on the other. And once the yeast is in here tomorrow, then as it starts to work, within 12 to 48 hours, you'll see foam starting to appear all around the pineapple, and you'll get bubbles that rise from the bottom to the top, contributing to that foam. And as you do, you can look up into the airlock and you'll see air bubbles form, the water level get pushed, and then the air bubble wish up and the water level go back to neutral. And that means that you've got a nice ferment going on and you're producing the alcohol within the mixture. You leave that for 3 weeks, and then you drain the liquid off. Keep it safe to one side. Get rid of all the pineapple chunks, get rid of the debris, give the demijohn a quick rinse through, put the liquid back in, and then leave for another 3 weeks. You then rack it again, and then you leave it for at least 3 to 6 months to mature and to get drinkable, and have a little try every so often so that you know what it tastes like as it's developing. This is the mead on the second day with the yeast added, and you should be able to see all the bubbles appearing around the pineapple, and if you look closely, the little bubbles rising up as the fermentation is starting to flake cold. But your real big clue is this one, the airlock. Every bubble you see going around is carbon dioxide getting produced by the yeast, getting pushed out, and alcohol being formed. So all being well, you will soon have your own mead.